Hello, scumbags, and welcome to Unleashed. Sorry if I scared you kids.
Damn.
I'm Andrew Fantasia, and I'm joined by...
I don't know if you're joined by anybody, man. That was pretty scary. I'm out. I'm out. But yeah, no, my name's Josh. What's up, everybody?
And we're unleashed today. We're off the chain, as they say. We're going to be talking about a little blue man named Grand Admiral John Thrawn. And the reason we bring him up is because there was a little bit of news, not like a huge, bomb dropped in the news world, but they did say, I think it was this week when the news dropped, that the Thrawn sequel novel is going to be delayed by about a month. Did this tick you off when you heard about this, Josh, or were you like indifferent?
I'll be completely honest with you. I just heard about it when you said it because I've been dealing with some other stuff, so I've been kind of preoccupied. But I'm so angry.
Does this news ruin any part of your childhood, and if so, which parts?
Well, it's so funny. I have this weird thing where I don't remember my childhood at all. I was always an adult as far as I remember. But now that I realize this novel will be delayed, yes, my childhood is ruined.
That sounds healthy and fair. Yeah. So yeah, they've bumped this back. I think it was supposed to be early June. Now it's like mid to late July. And the reason that we wanted to sort of shed some light on this is because maybe the reason this is happening is they want to retool something in this plot to make it more important. We all, walked away from that first Thrawn book. Whether or not you loved it or did not love it, we all walked away with sort of the same info in our pocket, which is the Chiss are afraid of something, and it's not the Empire.
Yes.
What, Josh, could they possibly be afraid of? What's out there right now?
Well, that's an interesting question. Obviously, before we saw The Last Jedi, when we all read that, the thought was that it could be Snoke, it could be something to do with Snoke, and for all we know, that is still the case. Snoke could be perhaps a race of beings, kind of reminds me of like the Rakata Empire. He could be the tip of the iceberg as far as all of that is concerned. It could be something else. It could very well be something else out there. We've thrown around this idea of the Yuuzhan Vong, which was kind of a ridiculous thing that happened in the expanded universe. But it's very possible that that's a playground they're looking to play in. I don't know what it is. I don't think that it's Snoke now. You know what I mean? I don't. Although, wouldn't it be interesting if Timothy Zahn thought that it was, and then after he saw The Last Jedi, he was like, "Nope, we got to change things." You know what I mean?
Rewrite.
Yeah. Right.
But you said two magic words in there that I think deserve a little bit of scrutiny, and that's Yuuzhan Vong. And that has, I'm not going to lie, I have not read a EU book with Yuuzhan Vong in it, so I can't, I have no right to say whether or not they worked or not, but from what I gather from fan reaction, Yuuzhan Vong has become a bit of a dirty word in the Star Wars lexicon. You don't say that in good company. Not when you're eating with like your aunt's fine china. You don't say that at the table. The reaction to Yuuzhan Vong has been negative, and you're right. Yes. I think you used the word ridiculous when you were describing them. And from what I hear, that really it is very not Star Wars. It's bug people with bug ships who shoot bug guns that hit you with a bug. Like it's the most.
Yeah, and they're also they can't be like affected by the Force. They have like a Force resistance. So that was also part of it. I mean, it's like an invasion. It really felt like more of a Marvel thing. It felt like a version of Ultron or something, very bombastic to have them sort of come in and invade. I think that that concept can work though, of something coming in as an invading force, right? And it's sort of based, like, going back to what you were saying about Thrawn, it is interesting that there is something out there that the Chiss fear to the degree that Thrawn takes it upon himself to attack them preemptively. So whatever this thing is, he attacks it preemptively. That's why he's exiled, or at least that's part of the reason why he's exiled.
Yeah, it's a big enough threat to, you know, make him take that risk. And as far as what it is, I hope it's not Yuuzhan Vong. Again, you know, I don't really have the right to say that because I've never read them, but from just like the vibe I got from reading about the race itself and what they can do, and like you said, they're force immune and all the way their technology works. It reminds me of when you were a little kid and you were playing action figures with another little kid, okay? And you're like, oh, I'm going to be this guy, and okay, let's battle. And that other little kid's like, okay, and you say, all right, I'm going to shoot you with my gun. And he's like, well, no, because I have gun shields, so you can't shoot me. And I'm like, okay, so I'll slash you with my sword. No, because I have a sword shield, and it's like 1,000,000,000 times stronger than yours. That's what Yuuzhan Vong feels like. It's like whatever George Lucas made, it's like, no, this is more powerful. Look what it can do. So right. I really hope that they, you know, stay out of that territory. But there is something out there. There is a thing that made Thrawn scared enough to act the way he did. And from what we've seen of him in the books and on Rebels, he's more of he's more reactive than proactive. Like, he will wait to see and observe and then act accordingly. He's not just gonna, you know, go out there and like stir shit up. Now the Snoke thing, I think you're right though. I think that could still, we shouldn't rule that out. Right. And the fact that he died so, you know, soon and so suddenly in The Last Jedi kind of lends credence to the fact that, yeah, we're going to see him again. We're going to learn what his deal is, just not in, you know, Last Jedi or Episode 9. So this might be the perfect outlet to do so. And maybe, who knows, maybe Ryan called up Timothy Zahn and was like, hey, I know you were planning on doing the Yuuzhan Vong, but can you put Snoke in instead? Because it's kind of better. So right. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know. Would you be comfy with Snoke's backstory showing up in this, or would you rather a different medium tell that story?
I gotta be honest, I do not think that this, I really don't believe the Snoke thing. And I actually had the pleasure of talking to Tim Zahn last summer. And he was at a convention in Columbus, and I got the chance to hang out with him. He wrote a piece for a anthology that all of these writers do for Origins Game Fair. It was about dragons. His piece is very good. And so I talked to Tim about Thrawn. You know, I had read that book. I loved that book. I love that character. And when I talked to Tim about it, he was basically like, every question that I asked him, like, you know, what's up with the Anakin Skywalker thing? You know what I mean? I was like, what's up with that? Where is Eli Vanto at the end? You know, what's up with the Chiss ascendancy? Every question that I asked him, his answer was more or less, that has to do with a story I'd like to tell someday. Like, so Tim is not the type of guy to just sort of put something out there in a book or something that he doesn't have an explanation for in his own head. And so I really, truly believe that there's no way that, especially after how little we got of Snoke in The Force Awakens, and probably, I mean, like, look, Filoni hasn't touched any of that stuff, right? And so Filoni and Tim are pretty tight, right? Because Dave wanted to put... I've also met Dave Filoni. This is kind of crazy. But yeah, they basically, Dave wanted to put Thrawn into the show, and Dave is the type of guy that just really is all about honor, and he has kind of like old beliefs. And so he went to Tim right away, and then they sort of formed that partnership, and it was all very copacetic. But because Dave has not touched anything with Snoke, because Snoke had so little to do with The Force Awakens, I cannot imagine, especially given the time frame, that Timothy was like, well, I'm going to allude to something that could be Snoke. I think we as fans were like, yeah, oh, wouldn't that be interesting, you know, Snoke. So I just 100% rule out the Snoke thing. I just do not think that that's what's going on. But it is possible that something that is going on with Lucasfilm right now has delayed the book, and it is possible that a thread of something that Tim more or less wanted to play with is potentially something that Lucasfilm and Disney wants to bring in some kind of a higher capacity. But I'll be honest with you, my gut tells me that the only reason they're delaying this book is because Lucasfilm realizes that they have a problem with their canon and that they need to tighten this up. And so I think it's a simple thing where it's like, we got to double check this. You know, we might be bringing in now continuity editors or something. We just can't have this happen anymore. I mean, you know what I mean? So look, there's stuff with like the Holdo character, her character, you know, sort of changes. There's that interview with Donald Gleason where somebody brought up the fact that like he had Phasma kill his parents, his dad on the Eclipse. And Donald Gleason's reaction was like, wow, I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
And so I think that in some ways Disney's listening to what's going on with the fans right now. So I think that that's why it's delayed. So I don't know. I hope that doesn't completely derail our talk, but like it's not Snoke.
No, I hope you're right, man. Honestly, because canon, like the act of making canon tighter, it cannot be bad in any way. Like that would be amazing news if they said, you know, straight out, listen, guys, we've been a little too lenient with how things are, so we are going to buckle down and make sure that this shared universe we promised you does feel shared. So I would be 100% on board with that if that was the reason behind the Thrawn.
Can I say something else too?
Yeah.
Can I say something? So check this out. So this is a thought, but this is kind of a trail of thought that I've been on lately. Because in one of my more recent Snoke videos, which I'm not cranking out the Snoke videos, man. Like I got the metadata, I could do it. They do well, but I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something I'm super interested and passionate about doing it. But my theory now is that you know this thing out there that Palpatine was sensing.
Yes.
I don't think that was Snoke. I believe that was something that Snoke also sensed. So I think that Snoke could have been on a similar path to Palpatine, trying to go find this thing, right? And so whatever that thing is out there, that could very well be the thing that Tim is alluding to in the Thrawn book. That still could be a thing. I just do not think it's as closely tied to Snoke as look, I do think we're going to get an explanation from Snoke. I believe he's obviously very gifted with the Force. He was on a similar path to Palpatine. He probably sensed that whatever that was out there. Whatever that is out there, that could definitely be the thing that Thrawn was afraid of.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, here's a question for you. If that is the case, so there's something out there that Palpatine sensed, and now Snoke is sensing it too, and Thrawn is afraid of it. If this thing has captured the attention of these three, you know, Titans, and it is that big of a deal, would you feel cheated, for lack of a better term, in a way, if that big deal is only addressed in books and never comes up in a feature film?
Would I feel cheated? No, not necessarily. I will say this. I think that it's a nice... look, all bets are off. This is one of the best things about The Last Jedi. Is Rob around? Sit him down. Listen up, Rob. This is one of the best things about The Last Jedi. The slate is essentially clean. We can do and go anywhere we want to go. I do find... I would really, really love for it to be an interesting situation where the First Order... There's a lot of debate going on right now on like Reddit and different things about like how depleted are their forces. I heard this weird argument where somebody was like, well, a lot of their ground forces are depleted because of Starkiller Base, and it would seem that a lot of their fleet and their navy was destroyed in The Last Jedi. And so some people think they're on their last leg. It would be interesting if now that the galaxy is sort of weakened, because this is one of the things that Thrawn admits in the book, right? He was either going to come into the Empire and weaken it to the point where this threat would see this galaxy as an easier target than the Chiss and the Higher Ascendancy. So that was part of his plan. So if the galaxy is that weakened and the First Order is crippled and the Resistance is crippled, and then whatever this thing is comes in and sweeps in, and then Kylo, the First Order, the Knights of Ren, Rey, the Resistance, the Republic, and the New Jedi all have to sort of band together, that's an intriguing story. I would love that. I do not know if that's the route they will take in 9, but that is still available to them, whether they want to do that in comics, books, or the films, right? So would I feel cheated if it's not in the films? No, but I think that's a dope idea to explore, and why wouldn't you? Maybe that's episode 10, 11, and 12. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I've been telling the guys here for a long time now, like I would love to see that in a Star Wars movie where it's not one group versus another group. It's 3 groups, every man for himself kind of thing. And I would feel cheated if it was only in 9, because I'm like, one movie to do all that? That's a tight movie. But you're right. Give it its own trilogy or its own, 2 films to really get going and take the time to get some meat on those bones. Yeah, I would be down for that 100%. And hey, that might even mean we see some Chiss in a movie, and we've been wanting that for a long time too. So the Thrawn book right now, this Thrawn sequel book, I think it presents nothing but opportunity. Where that opportunity will land, only time will tell. But I'm still looking forward to the book. I still have high hopes that I'll like it more than the first one, because I thought the first one was hit and miss. And I believe that Lucasfilm, regardless of how you feel about the movies they've been cranking out, they listen to us. They do. Yeah. They listen to what we say and how we react to things. And it's only if there is a problem right now with canon or with a certain aspect of something, it's only a matter of time before that gets ironed out, because we are nothing if not vocal, as we have proven in countless message boards over the last 40 days. So that has been unleashed about Thrawn and his new book, which we got to wait another 6 months for. But hey, what are you going to do? Good things are worth waiting for. Mr. Joshua Lucas, where can people find you when you're not talking about blue people?
People can find me at the Den of Nerds, where I talk about all sorts of nerdy things, including Star Wars. Do a couple Star Wars vids every once in a while. Go check us out, denofnerds.com. There's a Den of Nerds Facebook, and there's a Den of Nerds YouTube.
And let me just say, if anybody out there watching is a Dragon Ball Z fan, this guy's channel, he has so much Dragon Ball Z content. I think he knows more about Dragon Ball Z than whoever is responsible for Dragon Ball Z. So they are pros at the Den of Nerds when it comes to Dragon Ball Z.
I will say that, and you know what? I'll say this to anybody, Dragon Ball fans out there that are watching this video right now. We all know that most fans know more than Toriyama himself, because Toriyama is a very forgetful guy. He literally forgets about characters and just never brings them up again. And we're like, what the hell? But he's got his own set of talents. And love Dragon Ball. So if you like Dragon Ball, check it out. The Den of Nerds YouTube. We got some cool stuff coming your way.
Oh, and this just in, Lucasfilm announces that the threat Thrawn was afraid of was in fact Majin Buu. So we were right all along.
Oh, I knew it.
And I'm Andrew Fantasia. You can find me on here on the Rebel Scum podcast, and you can also find me on my own channel on YouTube, which is just called Andrew Fantasia, because I was not feeling imaginative that day, and I have a show called Thumb Together where I review movies, because that's cool. But this has been Unleashed, and thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, hug us, kiss us, send us Valentine's, because that is coming up. Y'all better get on that. It's Valentine's season. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua Lucas, and may the Force be with you.
At least 8 times out of 10.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.